us deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and text line. You can call in and text in on any comments that you have on today's show. In addition to that, you can also watch and stream us live by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube, where you can watch and stream us live. Make sure y'all give us a like. Make sure y'all give us a subscribe as well, so you never miss any of your favorite shows. Make sure you also open up the 1017 The Truth app. If you're moving around, open up the 1017 The Truth app so you can stream us live, and download the award-winning 1017 The Truth app by simply going to your Apple store or your Google Play store and downloading the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and listen to us anywhere that you go. What up to my producer, Rhea Riley, holding it down on the ones and the twos.
Hello.
And shout out to you, Truth Nation. Again, I am Kyle Wallace, the host of Truth to Power, and today's show is, again, I gave Rhea my paper. No, I gave you something else. Today's show is, the big story of the day is the Devontae Mitchell stuff. That is the big story of the day. Because what tragically happened to him, I don't think there was any justice. And I want to ask you all, Truth Nation, do you believe justice was served yesterday with the sentencing? And what's so confusing to me is that in this case, you actually had people who pled guilty to being a party to a felony murder. So you actually had people who had pled guilty and had admitted that they played a role. They had a responsibility in the death of Devontae Mitchell. So to me, it was very interesting when you see that. I'm thinking, okay, well, they're going to be found guilty, and you do the crime, you do some time. And when you look up felony murder, being a party to a felony murder, it has up to a 15-year sentence. So, Rhea, if you facing 15 years in jail and you plead guilty to something, would you assume you would probably do a little bit of time behind bars for felony murder?
Yeah, a felony murder, at minimum 5.
I mean, I'm thinking I'm doing something. Like when I talk to my attorney, I'm thinking, all right, if I'm gonna plead guilty to this, I'm probably gonna end up doing a little bit of time, because at the end of the day, somebody lost their life, and at the end of the day, somebody will not have a father. Somebody that lost a brother, lost a son, and at the end of the day, somebody died because of your actions. So it was to my shock and my surprise when I saw that the individuals that pled guilty, because there's 4 individuals who did this, but to my shock and my surprise, when I saw that the 2 individuals that pled guilty to felony murder, party to felony murder, will serve 0 time behind bars, I was dismayed, I was surprised, and I could not believe this. Now, the Truth covered the Devontae Mitchell tragic case last summer. I know Tory Lowe covered it a lot because he was working with and helping the family and helped them get an attorney. And it occurred at the Hyatt Regency last summer. Now, again, this case was about 4 security guards at the hotel killing a man on accident. I will say that. It was on accident. It was not intentional homicide. They did not do what they were supposed to, and they ended up killing a man because they were not properly trained. So a man has lost his life due to the negligence of 4 security officers at the Hyatt Regency Hotel here in downtown Milwaukee. A man died. And the court system even deemed that in this case that all 4 men in some shape or form were responsible for the death of Mitchell. That was ruled. And somehow the same court system that we're told to depend on, the same justice we're told that we should believe in, the same district attorney office that we were told we should trust in, somehow charged 2 men with felony murder, and neither will spend a day in jail. I want y'all at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. There's a story from TMJ4 giving us an update on this, so make sure you go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube so you can watch and stream this live. Or, again, turn your radio up, or also turn up your app, because TMJ4 will break down exactly what the end result was from this tragic case that happened with Devontae Mitchell.
Everyone knew what they were doing. No one stopped. No one stopped as he begged for his life.
That is the wife of Devontae Mitchell, upset that the 4 men who all pleaded guilty in her husband's death will receive no additional prison or jail time. Mitchell died last year as he was held down on the ground outside the downtown Hyatt Regency Hotel. A judge ruled 2 of those men will get probation. The other 2, they've already served out their sentences for the little bit of time they spent in jail. That includes Todd Erickson. Prosecutors describe him as the ringleader. TMJ4's Jenna Ray has been following this case since day 1. She was inside court today as those sentences were handed down. Jenna?
Steve, it's been an incredibly tough and emotional day for friends and family of Devontae Mitchell, who say they don't think justice was served in this case. Now, Todd Erickson was the last defendant to get sentenced today, this afternoon, when the judge read that he too was not going to serve any jail time. Devontae Mitchell's friends and family stood up and walked out of the courtroom. Now, I want to walk you through the sentencing today. The state argued that this entire situation was completely avoidable. Assistant DA Dan Flaherty says Todd Erickson, the former hotel security guard, was the one responsible for Devontae Mitchell's death, and that Erickson instructed the other 3 defendants to get on top of Mitchell and restrain him on the ground. The medical examiner ruled Mitchell's death as homicide because of restraint asphyxia, which Flaherty says was because he was held prone on his stomach for too long. The state continuing to say Erickson was culpable for why Mitchell lost his life that day and that he needs to be held accountable. The defense argued Erickson is not the most culpable and was actually the last one to be involved in the altercation with Mitchell. Mitchell's stepfather and mother spoke during the sentencing, but I spoke with Mitchell's mother directly after we heard the sentencing in full.
My son's life was taken. There was no justice served here today. Absolutely no justice. There was a slap on the wrist for them. I feel like they get to live their life with their family, with their loved one, get to celebrate all these holidays, birthdays, and everything with their family and their loved one. My son is 6 foot under. I would never see him again.
Obviously, emotional sound from Brenda Giles. That's Devontae Mitchell's mother. Just spoke with her just about an hour ago. Now, all four of the defendants who were in court today said something except for one of them. All the three men who did speak in court said that they are sorry that this happened and they're sorry to Devontae Mitchell's family, but that they know that their actions cannot bring Devontae Mitchell back. For now, we're live outside the Milwaukee County Safety Building. I'm Jenna Ray for TMJ4 News.
It's crazy to me. You listen to his mother talking about this is a slap on the wrist, and the family feels like this is a slap on the wrist. And what really hit me was hearing his mother say they still get to celebrate holidays. They still get to have birthdays. They still get to live their lives as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, Devontae Mitchell is 6 feet deep. That one hit me because the issue I have with this is that this is a complete travesty of a situation, and the fact that those who were culpable in this will serve no jail time. How is it possible for somebody to be found guilty of something and serve no jail time? How is it possible that someone can get a first offense misdemeanor when it comes from marijuana here in the state of Wisconsin and can face up to 6 months in jail, but two men who are convicted of murder get probation? This is not what justice is about. 833-212-1017. That is the talking text line. Why does this keep happening, Truth Nation? And why does it always seem like black people die and we don't get the justice that we deserve? How should we react to this? 833-212-1017. Again, that is the talking text line. You can call in or you can text in, because I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't give a damn that 3 of the 4 men that murdered Devontae Mitchell, and 2 of them admitting to murdering Devontae Mitchell. I don't care that 3 of the 4 of these men were black. If you commit a crime, you must do the time. If you take somebody's life, you have to pay the cost. I don't care that it was an accident. I don't. You are supposed to have judgment in life, right? You have judgment. And at a certain point, if you believe that you are using excessive force and somebody is telling you they cannot breathe, and you decide to continue on with applying the pressure that is causing somebody to not be able to breathe, and then it leads to them losing their life, you have to pay the cost for that. And I understand they did not have intentions on murdering Devontae Mitchell. I understand Devontae Mitchell had drugs in his system. I get it. Devontae Mitchell was going inside of the women's bathroom, tried to barricade. I get it. I am not saying Devontae Mitchell did not do anything wrong. But what I am saying is his actions do not equate to death. That is the issue that I have in this, and I do not feel like the punishment fits the crime. And far too often we have these conversations over and over and over again. Even in our own backyard of the city of Milwaukee, we have these same conversations over and over and over again about the lack of justice that we get. It does not make sense to me. Again, 833-212-1017. We're talking about Devontae Mitchell, the black man that was murdered at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Milwaukee over a year ago. In this specific case, the security guards were found guilty. All 4 of them were found guilty of something. 2 of them found guilty of felony murder. In the most jail time I think anybody was served, I think it was 10 days. One of the other folks served in jail behind bars when they had to turn themselves in. That is it. We thought that this was a case where we said, look at justice. We thought that. They got the 4 guys, they charged the 4 guys, and then the guys ended up, pleading guilty. So we thought we won on this one. We thought justice was going to be served. And once again, the system, to me, in my perspective, in my belief, it failed us. But I want to know, do y'all believe that the system failed us? You can watch and stream us live on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can chime into the conversation. I see y'all chiming into the conversation there. But in addition to that, y'all can call in, text in, and let me know how y'all feel, because this is something has to be done. Something has to be done. Kent Laverne is now the district attorney here in Milwaukee, and we have to address his office because it was John Chisholm before. And my biggest concern with Kent Laverne, who joined the Tory Lowe Show back when we did our walk against violence, he joined the show leading up to it. I was hoping that maybe Kent wouldn't follow suit and do the same things that John Chisholm is doing. But maybe come the next election, we're going to have to put somebody up to get his ass up out of there too. Because something has to change in the city of Milwaukee, because there is no way that they got a plea deal. They got a deal, and somehow that the judge is only charging these folks when they kill somebody, guilty of death, killing somebody, felony murder, I should say, not death, felony murder. But somehow they're not spending any time behind bars. 833-212-1017. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We'll continue this conversation on the other side.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back September 9th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Texas Rangers.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in September 9th at 7:05 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Marquette University High School football lives here. Catch all the action of Hilltoppers football on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Hilltoppers are back in action this Friday on the road against the Brookfield Central Lancers. Join our coverage on The Truth starting at 6:30 p.m. with the Hilltoppers pregame show, leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, CJ Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Burghardt Sporting Goods.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
Talk to these people in terms of how do I register for this program despite my reservations and my previous experiences of rejection?
Yes, I tell anybody and everybody that you can buy a house. It may take somebody longer than the other person depending on what your circumstances is with your credit and income and affordability, but you can purchase a house. The first step would be is to register for our program. You can come to our office, 7830 West Burleigh Street, or you can give us a call at 414-461-6330, or just go onto our website, hri-wi.org. Register for the First Time Home Buyer Education Workshop. That's going to be your first step to home ownership. During that class, you're going to learn everything that you need to know from A to Z, how to get approved for a house, how to look for a house and put an accepted offer, and how to close on a home.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Ride the wave to clean with Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for a winning shine. Become a monthly member and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait in the fast lane and take advantage of unbeatable perks like free vacuums and tire air with every visit, with convenient locations across Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, Mount Pleasant, and New Berlin. My goodness, it's fresh, clean, and shiny. Is always close by. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Learn more at tsunamiexpress.com. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace. And we're having a conversation talking about the murder of Devontae Mitchell, which took place here in the city of Milwaukee. And for me, I don't feel like the punishment that these young men, or not young men, that these men got, fit the crime whatsoever. The punishment they got was a slap on the wrist. The family, who was always going to have to deal with heartache, is going to forever have to walk around understanding that they never got justice. And too many families in our city of Milwaukee, but also too many families just in general, have to deal with this type of stuff where they don't feel like justice is served. And when I think about who do we blame, we can blame the security guards, which I place a lot of blame on the security guards because it was their actions that led to the death of Devontae Mitchell. There is no in-between with that. Their actions led to somebody losing their life. But where a lot of my fury, a lot of my anger, and a lot of my disappointment is pointed towards, it has to be towards the district attorney's office and the judicial system. Because it does not make sense to me how someone can be murdered and somehow they get no time. And I always hear these different cases about how the DA's office fights so hard to get a conviction for some. Like I think about Theodore Edgecombe, who he was convicted of murder and spending time behind bars. And in that instance of Theodore Edgecombe, somebody got out of their vehicle, ran at him, and he shot and killed him. Now, I don't believe he should have shot and killed him, but if he feared for his life, which in a weird way Theodore said he did, but then he didn't. Not a very good witness. But they fought tooth and nail to make sure that Theodore Edgecombe was going to be behind bars because the individual that he killed was an attorney, and other attorneys knew him, DAs knew him, and it was personal. In the case of Devontae Mitchell, it was clearly not personal, and clearly in these deals that they came to, with these plea deals that they came to, it was obviously agreed upon that these folks weren't going to spend time behind bars. And I want to know which DA did this and how did they come to this conclusion where they felt like somebody making a mistake and it was an accident and killing somebody did not mean that they were going to spend time behind bars. I want to know how in the world that this district attorney office could be looking Devontae Mitchell's family in the face and be talking to Devontae Mitchell's family and talk about how we're going to get y'all justice, but end up with this being the end result. His family walked out of the courtroom when they heard this. Rightfully so. The pent-up anger I would have if my family member, if I had to watch on video, and we're going to play the video, but the pent-up anger I would have in my heart knowing that these 4 individuals killed my family member and none of them are taking real responsibility for it would enrage me. It would absolutely enrage me. And so for me, when I think about who we should be pointing the finger at, the blame goes on the 4 individuals who are murderers, the killers. But on top of that, we have to talk about the fact that the district attorney office allowed for these people to walk away scot-free. And I really do feel for his family. But when you look at the facts of the case, and yes, he had drugs in his system, but it does not mean he deserved to die. And it was confirmed through the medical examiner's office that restraint asphyxia was the cause of the death of Devontae Mitchell, which is a condition that develops when a person's body is put in a position which prevents them from breathing. These security guards are the ones who put him in the position where he could not be breathing. Their negligence led to his death. People spend time behind bars for negligence. People spend time behind bars for manslaughter. And again, like I said before, the fact that you can get caught with marijuana in the state of Wisconsin and serve more time than what a murderer would serve. And yes, even if you accidentally kill somebody, you are still a murderer, especially when you plead guilty to felony murder. Marijuana will get you more time in jail than killing somebody, especially when it comes to a black man here in America, unfortunately. Again, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But before we play the video of this tragedy, to remind everybody what obviously can get you a slap on the wrist if you're a black man in America, Al in Milwaukee, you're on award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Well, it's because they're disciples of white supremacy. Because if it was a white man named John, it would be a total opposite. And also, they always use drugs for a cop out, especially that also go for you self-hating blacks as well. Because karma is a mother, and I don't care how much you think you cool with the white man, and I don't care how much you let that white man ejaculate in you. You gonna find out. I hope the shoe ain't on the other foot. Have a good day. Have a good day. Goodbye.
I don't even know if you can say that. Al, what's his name? Al. Why we talking about somebody dying and he talking about that? I don't know if it has anything to do with, being close to white folks. And I was watching an interview of one of the individuals that was part of this case. I got to find his name. And he was acting very distraught about this case. He was very distraught about the fact that he might have to go behind bars. And his name was Herbert. And I was very confused when he was talking. He was like, I was just doing what I was told to do. And I didn't murder him. I just had my hands holding him down. Brother, I'm not saying you tried to kill him, but what I'm saying is your actions led to his body being in a position that he ended up dying. I don't know about you, Rhea, but if I kill somebody on accident, I would feel awful, and I would be remorseful. And I would like to think, again, I hope I never have to be in this situation. If I was sentenced to spend time behind bars, I would understand it's justifiable. This is why I don't drink and drive. I don't do things. I'm nervous. I try not to text and drive. I text and drive. I try not to text and drive. I try to put myself in a position where if something happens on an accident, I'm not spending any time behind bars. I don't want to put myself. Would you be like, you know what? It was an accident, it was a mistake, but I got to spend time behind bars for my accident, and I regret it. But that's just what the punishment is. Would you accept being behind bars?
I mean, what else am I gonna do?
Obviously, get a slap on the wrist where you get 2 years probation.
I mean, if I can get out of jail time, I'm gonna get out of jail time. But
I mean,
it's not right.
No, it's not right. And to me, I feel like people in the justice system once again failed our people. Rhea's smiling because she's like, hell, she said, listen, I ain't sitting behind bars for this one. If the system told me I ain't got to, then I ain't got to. And to each their own. But again, I would feel awful because you murdered somebody, you killed somebody, and the most you have is I'm sorry. Like the family gets no justice. They were victimized. The family was victimized. Their negligence, them not being trained to do this. You're doing something you're not trained to do. You didn't need to restrain him because at the end of the day, we have the police department here in Milwaukee where the stop and chase we talked about. Listen, sometimes people going to get away. Sometimes people going to get away. And as citizens, we can't step in and do something. And when somebody dies and loses their life, we can't say, oh, well, my bad. That wasn't my attempt. That's fine. That wasn't your attempt, but that was the end result, and somebody has to pay the price for that. The young man's name is escaping me. Corey. I know that's his first name. And he was murdered, I want to say, in West Dallas. He was a teenager, and he was accused of stealing Corey Stingley in 2012. Corey Stingley in 2012 was accused of stealing something from a convenience store at West Dallas, and when he got caught, he was going to put it back, and he was trying to leave, and they wouldn't let him leave. A civilian wouldn't let him leave, and he ended up killing a young man, a teenager. And in that case, no justice was served. No one was charged, even though his death was ruled a homicide. And so, for me, it'd be these instances where it's like, you may not have intended for this to happen, but that was the end result. Death was the end result. And there has to be some consequences. For families to have to walk around without their loved one and all you can say is, oops, my bad, that ain't right. Again, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. As we talk about the fact that I'm disappointed. I am extremely disappointed in the district attorney's office here. I'm extremely disappointed in Kent Laverne. And Kent will be back in this. He may not be back on his station, but Kent will be back here in this office space because folks love to go on 620 WTMJ, our sister station. When Kent is back, best to believe I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him what happened. Matter of fact, I was mad. I was talking to some folks yesterday. I was mad that I didn't realize Alex Ayala, the president of the Milwaukee Police Association, I didn't realize I walked right past him on Tuesday. I didn't know that. Because had I did, I would have asked him some questions as well. But if I see Kent Laverne again, I'm going to ask him how his district attorney's office disrespected a family and a community by not having anybody spend any time behind bars for felony murder. And I want to know his response. Because the fire going to be on him just like it was on John Chisholm for consistently not charging folks. 833-212-1017, L in Milwaukee. What are your thoughts on this conversation talking about the death of Devontae Mitchell? L in Milwaukee going once? Twice? Rhea said, hold on. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. L in Milwaukee.
Hello?
Yep, you're here.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
The question is, sometimes as black people, we look at everything and try to see the negative in things, but sometimes we got to hold people accountable for their actions. Like, I get it. I feel bad for the family, but I can pretty much guarantee from personal experience, this person probably done this multiple times, had these same issues. Now, them losing their life, of course, that's not acceptable. But sometimes we got to take into effect that account that everything that they've done that led up to this moment caused these actions. We can't sit here. These people's lives are messed up just as well as his families.
I hear you, Bill.
All they did was come in. All they did was come in to do their job.
But they failed at doing their job though, L. You can keep them on. They failed. That my thing is they failed at doing their job. I get what you're saying. They were trying to apprehend somebody and try to get somebody who was doing something wrong. And again, he had drugs in his system, and I said that before. He was in a women's bathroom. He was not doing right. He was not in the right state of mind. And we both agreed death was not the end result. But they failed at doing their job, did they not, L?
Yes, but let me ask you this question. Have you ever performed security before?
Never have I performed security. No, sir. And real security, not like college party security.
Real life security.
I have not.
Now, these people are trained to do things a certain type of way. Now, had they done everything by the book? I'm not 100%. I don't know all the details. But I know this. When dealing with intoxicated people, sometimes when you're doing things the way you're supposed to, they move in manners which makes it difficult for you to do your job.
Can I ask you a question,
L? Let them continue?
L, can I ask you a question? Because I do know, my friend used to be a bouncer. Can I ask you a question? If somebody was to tell you as a security guard, when you were holding them down against their will, and I have friends being held down, if they were telling you, I cannot breathe, at what point do you try to? That's my thing, and so I understand. Like you and I appreciate you using your personal experience as well as being somebody who worked in security, understanding that there are unruly individuals that have to be taken care of, right? And in this, he was unruly in this situation, but death Death should not be the end result. El, I truly appreciate your commentary.
It should never be the end result it should never be the end result in any situation.
I
I'm not saying that, but
you.
at the same time, you're asking for jail time for these guys who are doing their job.
Who
do this all the time? Wait,
they're negligent, though. El, they were found guilty, though. El, they were found guilty. They were found guilty of
negligence, but that don't mean that they intent. There was no intent.
But they were found guilty. But my thing is this: is they were actually found guilty on felony murder. I know their intent wasn't that, but when you're found guilty on felony murder, that means that you said yes, my actions led to somebody dying, and at that point, being able to get probation that's a tough pill to swallow, is it not, El?
But even though you're missing the bigger picture. Their lives are ruined. For someone who came in and behaved the way he did, these people's lives are ruined. Not just one person, but the whole staff. Everybody who's there, lives are changed forever.
El, I appreciate you. I appreciate you at the dialogue and conversation. I really do. 833-212-1017. I think that's something to ponder because we have different perspectives. And do you feel for the security guards, as El does? Do you feel like their lives are now ruined? Because for me, I understand it's sad all the way around because I do not for once do I believe the intention when they saw him that they were going to kill him. I do not believe that was the intention. And even if they did, because we know from the Joel Acevedo case where police officers did the exact same thing, not off duty at a house party where they was doing some weird stuff and they killed somebody and they said some reckless things on the recording, and that still didn't justify them getting charged with anything. And so, do you feel for the security guards? 833-212-1017. I'll continue taking your calls because I am just upset with the district attorney office and the end result in this Devontae Mitchell case. Sandra, I see you. I see the talking text line. I also see y'all on YouTube. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube. Share your thoughts and share your comments. But I'll read some of the talking text when we come back. But keep it locked. It's the Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. And y'all got some strong opinions, and we'll come back with more on the other side.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance, and you can weather any storm. You'll save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned as operating companies American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 1017 The Truth.
What was the life change? You know, we all know it happened and we know things happen and you have bad kidneys, but what was the life change afterwards?
A couple things. Before they even allow you to get on the list, they make you go through a battery of tests. And, you know, a lot of people don't qualify because they're overweight or they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So all those things are requirements before you can even get approved to be on the list. So I had...
Wait, you got to be approved to be on the list?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's interesting. There's a professional athlete or former professional athlete I know right now that has kidney disease and he's on dialysis and he wants to get on the list and he's not accepting all the things you have to do, you know, to get on the list. But yeah, so for me, I spent 30 years in the automobile industry. You know, that's 12, 14-hour days, eating whatever somebody brings you to eat, whatever you run out and grab, McDonald's, whatever. It was never salads and, you know.
Yeah, but that was a choice, right?
It was a choice. Yeah. But I had to change all of that to even qualify to be on the list. I had to get down to the weight I had to be at. I had to get my phosphorus under control, my potassium under control.
Wait a minute, even though somebody said they would give you a kidney,
absolutely,
you had to still make yourself eligible?
Absolutely.
Nah, that's okay.
When I mentioned the athlete, his relative actually died, and they wanted to take his organs, and they couldn't because he wasn't qualified. He wasn't on the list. Wow. Yeah, you have to be.
So there are over 100,000 people on that waiting list. So they are very serious.
And how many donors do we have?
And that's the problem. We don't have nearly enough donors.
Wow.
And that's why it's such a critical need. But they are serious about who they're giving that gift of life to because there are so many people who are literally dying waiting for it.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit Versity.org today. today.
This is Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth. It's powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Milwaukee Brewers beating the Philadelphia Phillies on Wednesday evening. This one by a final score of 6-3. The Brew Crew entering today with a 6-game lead in the National League Central. They got the job done last night without Christian Yelich, who was scratched late due to back soreness. After the game, manager Pat Murphy on number 22.
He hasn't been out all year. He played all those games. He's really been super healthy for us and super critical, but he just didn't respond well. It's come on a little bit.
And lastly, we'll head over to the NFL, where Week 1 is officially here. The Cowboys and Eagles getting set to kick things off this evening at 7 p.m. as the Packers continue their prep for the Detroit Lions. The NFC North is on the eyes for quarterback Jordan Love.
Wasn't good enough. Wasn't up to our standards. So that's definitely something that's lingered with us throughout the offseason. And, it's always a point that we focus on is trying to go out there and win the NFC North.
The Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
The Truth is the proud home of Marquette University High School Championship football. We have a great matchup for you Friday night as the Marquette High Hilltoppers look to get their first victory of the season as they take on conference rival, the Brookfield Central Lancers. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Friday night football on The Truth is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Also, we got a new show alert. Woo! New show. Tune into the award-winning 101.7 The Truth this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. for the debut of Forward Together for Kids, hosted by myself, Kyle Wallace, and Coleston Morgan Jr. Forward Together for Kids is a monthly conversation where we have a real talk about K-12 education right here in Milwaukee. They will tackle the tough issues and make sure you're informed about everything happening from the state house to the schoolhouse that affects the kids' education. This show is being brought to you by City Forward Collective, a local nonprofit working to ensure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family. Again, that is Forward Together for Kids this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and replay again 2:30 p.m. on Sunday right here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. You are listening to Truth to Power here on 101.7 The Truth and on the Talking Text line and on YouTube as well, which you can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a like. Make sure you give us a subscribe. But in addition to that as well, you can chime in on the conversation. And Josh said that this is that Milwaukee Dusty mindset I be talking about. We be butt backwards, the most uninformed trying to inform someone. Self-hate is crazy in the Midwest. I know our ancestors is looking at us like face palm emoji. And I agree. I've been saying this forever. Ever since I started recruiting on the East Coast back in the day when I worked in recruitment, and then I started dating a young lady from the East Coast. Let me tell y'all, we are so far behind. When I was with that woman, I was like, this is the damn Huxtables. This is playing board games at night, eating dinner at 6:30. At the dinner plate, mom serving everybody. The mom and my ex-girl was cleaning up the table, washing dishes. I was like, my goodness. I'm used to paper plates and just eating where we want to eat. It was crazy. And we are so backwards here in Milwaukee. But 833-212-1017, that's the Talking Text line. Miss Sandra, thank you so much for holding. You're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation about Devontae Mitchell? Are you in the camp where you blame the district attorney's office? Do you blame the 4 security officers? Or are you saying I feel more for the security officers because their lives are ruined?
Okay, hi. Number one, I wonder if the security officers had any first aid training. Because a lot of times, some of them usually be trained, just like the Gardner incident when they were on him.
Eric Gardner, New York, for a Lucy cigarette. Yes, that's crazy. And that was the police.
I know they had to be first aid, but still they have to be first. Even so, I was first aid trained at the time. So I was just wondering about it. I'm on the side of you. I am mad about them killing that guy because there was 3 of them on him.
Yeah, they pinned him down, face down on the ground. He died of asphyxia, restrained asphyxia, which was because of the way they positioned him. It's just exactly. Where's the outrage? Why are we all of a sudden saying we don't care no more?
Corey, the senior guy, it was 3 jumped on him. 3 white guys. Had it been a white boy, I bet you any money they would not have strangled them to death.
No, they would have just told him, hey, kid, don't do that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, to me, black lives don't matter. I hear people say black lives was a fiction thing, but black lives don't, and I really feel they're on the extinction list. We're on the extinction list because they fear that black men. They fear power because you see all these white men want all the power. They're already in the women's stuff. They want all the power to tell a woman what she could do with her stuff. But I am for the family. They had 3 of them people? No. That's what I got to say.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Miss Sandra. I will say this. I appreciate her comment. Hearing a lady, Miss Sandra's fantastic. Talking about tell them what to do with their lady stuff. I thought that was very, very interesting. I don't know. It's always weird growing up is you talk about stuff and you think your parents don't know about it, but in reality, your parents know about all the stuff that you was talking about. And so, like, maybe not you, Rhea. Of course, the goody two-shoes, just, the youngest, just say, I don't know. I wasn't bad. Again, your bad was being attitudey. Your bad wasn't being reckless in these streets. You were a great kid. I was a good kid. I just, Lord bless me. That's the difference. Lord bless me in my recklessness. 833-212-1017. Again, we're having a conversation about Devontae Mitchell and the 4 individuals that all pled guilty to something in this case. 2 of them pled guilty to felony murder. Todd Erickson, Devin Johnson, Brandon Turner, and Herbert Williamson. They all pled guilty to something, with 2 of them pleading guilty to felony murder, and nobody. The most jail time they felt is when they had to serve was when they had to turn themselves in. But nobody is serving any jail time after pleading guilty to being part of the murder, assisting in, or charged with felony murder and pleading guilty to it. No one is serving any time. The town, what are your thoughts about the sentencing?
I feel like that this is some inside baseball type thing. I think forces, beyond our control, got to that judge and told him to render his verdict, his sentencing like that. I mean, like you said, you get caught with some weed and it's enough bags. They're gonna give you at least 4 years.
Well, if you get 6 months getting caught with some without even having intent to deliver, just trying to smoke it.
Right. Yeah. So, like, what is this judge's name? That's who need to be put on blast. Chisholm need to be put on blast.
Chisholm is gone. He's not even there no more. It's District Attorney Kent Laverne, and the judge would be
whoever was in charge. Who's the judge again? My bad.
The judge, I had his name. I'll get there. You can keep going. I'll let you know. Say
his name because he need to be. Cause this is ridiculous. And I'm not for people going to prison. Straight up, I'm not about that. But like when it's murder though, you got to do a little time, bro. If you murder somebody and you plead guilty, cuz you gonna have to go to Dodge, bro. At least for a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta feel that. You gotta feel that intake, and you gotta go and go up in that intake and spend that 23 hours in that cell for a minute, just for a little bit. Even though we know you ain't mean to kill the guy, and we know that, but you was too much overzealous. And like that woman said, she'll never see her son again.
And think about
y'all going out there
kicking it and being around. And think about it. And somebody has vernacular homicide, like manslaughter, right, on accident. People still, when you driving and you kill somebody on accident, you run into the back of somebody on accident and somebody dies, right, and your negligence leads to their death. Sometimes people have to serve time for that. But in this case, where their negligence of trying to apply pressure on somebody's body, which caused them not to be able to breathe and get carbon dioxide, and it led to the death of them, you get nothing. David Swanson was the judge, the circuit court judge. David Swanson is who I was told was the circuit court judge. Thank you so much, Rhea.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to make sure that whatever ballot David Swanson is, when he go up,
vote him out.
To re-up for his judgeship or whatever like that. Let's vote for the other person, because obviously he's not a good judge of character or the judge of the situation or judge of reading the room, as in the room is the city. And what happened in this situation, it's just totally bogus, bro.
I agree.
It's just totally bogus.
I appreciate the time. I really do. And again, in this conversation today, one thing that has been very consistent is that we all feel bad for the family, and we all aren't sitting here saying that the four gentlemen went there with the intent to murder Devontae Mitchell. That's not the case. It's the fact of how light the sentencing is that does not make sense. That is the confusing part. And so trying to get into the mind of the Circuit Court Judge Dave Swanson, or trying to get into the mind of the District Attorney's Office, and understanding what all went into this is important. And I'm probably going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to the District Attorney's Office. I do have their contact information, to maybe they can give some clarification on how they came to this, because I promise y'all, this was not just a judge's decision. The judge approved it, but this decision was negotiated between the attorney for the defense and then the prosecution, which was the state. That's why they got this sentence, is because the state allowed it. Milwaukee County allowed for it. Again, you can watch the streamers live on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. I see y'all comments. On the other side, we'll definitely read some of y'all comments. Make sure y'all give a like. Make sure y'all subscribe as well. If you want to text in or call in, I see y'all text. We'll get to that on the other side as well at 833-212-1017. But also, before we go to break, Truth Nation, I told y'all, tomorrow I'm going to be live from Steinhoffel's in Menominee Falls. Come see your boy. They have extended their Labor Day sale, and they're celebrating the start of the Packers season. Right now, save 10% off store-wide. That's 10% off store-wide, or you can get 36 months, 0% financing. Yes, you get 3 whole years to buy something and not have to pay any interest for 3 whole years. Plus, you'll score a $100 Packers gift card when you spend over $19.99 in the store. But hurry, this is your last chance for Labor Day savings on all the best mattress brands, with up to 60 months of 0% financing with Steinhoffel's. Steinhoffel's is a proud partner of the Green Bay Packers, and make sure you shop in store or online anytime by going to steinhoffels.com. Tomorrow, I will be at Steinhoffel's in Menominee Falls. Come on by. Have a good time as we celebrate buying great furniture and getting your house set up. But this is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We'll wrap up the show with your calls, your texts, and YouTube in 3 minutes.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
This may be another Elon Musk bureaucratic shuffle, or this may be whatever it is. These, Dr. Ken, are real consequences.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I believe that there's going to be a step back and a rollback to some of those places that we're talking about making cuts because of the drastic outcome that can occur.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
One, two, three, ho!
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host, Kyle Wallace of Truth to Power. I just realized I done crumpled up some stuff I wasn't supposed to, but it is what it is. I appreciate the conversation today, y'all chiming in as we're just breaking down and reacting to what happened with Devontae Mitchell. And Dr. Ken and I had a conversation talking about, should someone go to jail for an accident? Should someone go to jail for an accident? I thought that was interesting. And I said to him, like, I mean, it all depends, and there's obviously variables to it, but people do go to jail for accidents. That's what happens. I believe there might be a teenage boy who I believe it might be a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, and I should have looked this up, but it popped in my mind. There was a recent shooting where a teenager boy had a gun and shot another boy, and we don't know all the facts of the case. But initially it seemed like it was accidental, it wasn't on purpose, playing with a gun, and he was charged. And so if he can be charged and potentially go to jail, these grown folks whose actions led to the death of Devontae Mitchell should definitely be in jail. But 833-212-1017 on the Truth Talking text line, y'all shared a lot of thoughts and a lot of comments on there, and I definitely want to get to some of those. Marvin said, listen, Kyle, if this guy was not overweight, on illegal drugs and mentally unstable and followed simple instructions by the hotel staff, he would be alive. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. He said, when you leave the house, no one is going to cuddle you like mommy and daddy. I feel sorry for the hotel staff, but you don't feel sorry for the people. That one I don't really understand. I don't really understand. And so, again, I'll end with this, is that, yes, this is a tragic situation. And the intent wasn't to murder Devontae Mitchell, but that was the end result, and somebody needs to pay the price. And unfortunately, the family will get no justice. And far too often, when we see black bodies laying in the street, we see black bodies getting murdered, we have these situations that happen every single year. This is not going to be the first, and this was not the first, and this will not be the last. And we're going to continue to have this same conversation about why the district attorney's office always seems to give a slap on the wrist when black folks are killed. I don't give a damn who they were killed by. When they get killed, when we die, we get a slap on the wrist. I tell y'all this right. If this was me, I'd tell people, hey, y'all better go mess some stuff up. Don't let me go out like this. I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying do that. I'm talking about for me. I'm too good of a human being for me to go out like this. And despite whatever Devontae Mitchell had going on, he was still a man that had a family, and now a family does not have their loved one. And that is unfortunate, and the district attorney's office failed them. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. The Tory Lowe Show is up next from 1 to 4. Make sure y'all stay tapped in for that. But peace out. I will see y'all tomorrow live from Steinhoffel's in Menominee Falls. Thank y'all, Truth Nation. Love y'all.
Hey, Truth fam, this is your girl, Melanie Ricks, and I want to remind you to tune into Nothing But the Truth digital show with me, Melanie Ricks.